Okay, so I've had some questions and I have some new puppy people that will probably appreciate some information on grooming. So we're just going to do some quick looking at how we can best comb out a Sammy, um, and also how we can use a dryer to help speed up some of our maintenance grooming. Um, some of the things that you'll, here honey, down here, these are some of the different combs that I use. This one is a Greyhound comb and it just has a handle on it. The regular comb comes like this, and then I just purchased this handle just because it's easier on my hands. It's not necessary. This is a rake. This is kind of the perfect thing for maintenance grooming. It's a lot easier on your hands because you're pulling down rather than trying to twist when you're combing. These come in, this is like a giant one, and they also come in a little bit smaller one with finer teeth. This is a shedding comb. It's nice to have, but I don't use it a whole lot. It's tedious and you won't get real far with it, but if you have a spot that's really lumpy and have a lot of hair coming out, sometimes it's really nice to be able to, you can work the outside combs and then get closer and closer to try and get some of that dead hair out. So I will show you on Mendel. A lot of people, Mendel, turn around. Good job, right here. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking that you can, stand up buddy, good boy, you can just comb like this. This will do almost nothing on a dog with a double coat like a Samoyed. You are not combing your dog. You are just kind of maybe getting a little bit of the top stuff off. Now because he's losing coat right now, I'm getting coat out, but he is not combed down to the skin, and this is a good way to end up with mats and other things. And like I said, he's just plain not combed out. What we have to do is what's called line combing, where we take our one hand and pull the coat back and use the comb hand to comb out all the way down to the skin. And this takes much longer, obviously. But this is how we are truly combing the dog out. This kind of thing where Mendel has not been groomed in quite a while, so using the comb like this, the rake, is going to get us a lot further in a shorter period of time. You can do the same thing with your comb. Because he hasn't been groomed in a while, I'm going to use the ones that are a little bit more coarse. But you can, work your way up, or if it goes through just fine, you can use the finer teeth. These combs, there's a million different kinds you can get. I highly recommend Greyhound brand, or one of the other kind of more name brand ones out there, which means that you're looking at spending usually at least $20 or $30, sometimes $75 on a comb. The reason for that is, number one, it won't discolor the coat, and number two, it moves through the coat a lot easier. You can kind of see how it, sometimes there's a brand that they call a butter comb, and that's just, it moves through the coat like butter. You will find that your wrist will be glad that you paid a little bit more for a comb, and also the dog's coat, you won't be ripping it out as much as you're just nicely getting through it. So that is kind of one of those things. Now you can also do this with a slicker brush if you want to, but remember you're going down to the skin, and the dog isn't really going to like a slicker down to the skin very much, and it's not really doing that much more for you. Now, one thing that we can do for maintenance grooming, instead of having to use a comb, is using a dryer to do a very similar action that we're getting down to the skin completely throughout the coat. So, if you want to go on the dryer here, this is the dryer that I have. It's a K9 2. K9 does make a 3. I think it's great, but I don't generally recommend it just because it draws so much power. this is something that you can at least plug into an existing household outlet. You have to be careful about what breaker is on it, because if it's just like a 15 breaker, you're going to end up blowing the breaker when you turn both motors on. It's powerful. The Canine 2 does what it needs to do. It can get a hairy dog like Mendel dry, completely dry after a bath in about an hour. If I was using one of the little more inexpensive ones, I would be here for a very, very long time. So that's one really nice thing about this. And it has 2 different motors, so when I'm drying a puppy, I can just use one motor and it works great. So we're going to put this on Mendel, and we're going to do very similar to what we were doing with the line combing, getting down to the skin and really getting all of that dead coat out and separating each of the shafts of hair. But it goes a lot faster and it's a lot easier on you than doing the combing. We still have to comb once in a while, and we have to hit any trouble spots, but the dryer can really save you a lot of time. This is going to make a lot of noise, so you're not really going to be able to hear me talking about it, but just kind of watch how I'm moving it. You have to be careful not to move it too fast, especially with a dog with coat like Mendel's that's long like this. It will actually start to spin and make almost like it's making thread. So just give me 1 second, because I'm going to go grab the puppy that's stealing grass. Okay, so we would do that over his whole body. And sometimes you can get away with not necessarily using the one hand to hold coat back while the other one, sometimes you can just use the dryer. But if you do his whole body, that can help you with the maintenance grooming where you're not doing as much with the comb work. That's it. Let me know if you have any questions.